Alright gang, we're in Adrian, Texas, and as you can see, the Phillips 66 station sign. But the reason we're here is at an old gas station that is no longer in existence, not working, but what it's famous for, not for the sign there, but for the door. Show them, Deb. The door. Right here. It's a bent door. Yeah, come on up. Take a look at this thing. It really is bent. And why? I wish I could tell you. But the way I understand it, if my memory serves me correct, is the structure of the building itself. And it's an old steel door. See? And somehow they got this thing to bend. I don't know how, but they did it. And this is how you would enter. They are trying to refurbish the station. They've got a GoFundMe account, and they're on Facebook. As a matter of fact, Deb will get it for you. This is just a quarter of a mile from the midway point of Route 66, where we're at right now. So if you're coming down here and you get to the midway point, stop at the Midway Cafe. They've got some food there. They've got a motel. And then you come this way and you've got the bent door. All right, we got more to explore. Let's go. Come on. Okay, before we got out of here, we were just walking around the bent door Midway gas station, and we noticed, I told Debbie, I said, take a look at this. The price of gas when this went out, 21 cents, 29 and 33. Regular, ethyl, premium. There's the bay where they'd work on your vehicles. Sad but true, you do not find gas stations today that will actually not only work on your vehicle if you have a problem, but even change your tire. Sad, isn't it? And I used to do that. When I was a kid, I'd worked at a service station and it was actual service. Then you come out here and then you've got all this. There's the old Coke machine right there. Some other things. Got some people, looks like they're gonna come in here too. They're pulling in. The old pumps. He had 4 here. This is one of the lucky ones that had 4 pumps, man, that you'd come in for, which was pretty cool. And of course today, Debbie and I, as we do our Route 66, wearing our Route 66 shirts today. Yeah, so there we go. All right, so there you go. One last time, I had to show you the service station as well as the price of gas here at the Bent Door Midway Station in Adrian, Texas. And easy to get to. It is on the route itself, 66, so come on over and check it out if you're ever in the area. Very cool joint. All right, as I said before, come on, we got places to go.
Hi there, we are on Route 66 at the midway point. We've got 1,139 miles from Chicago and 1,139 miles to California. So here we are, right smack dab in the middle.
Hey gang, here we are, back home out of the dry heat, but into heat and humidity. It's been almost a month since we've been back.
Yes, it has been.
And Debbie and I decided that, you know, as we mentioned in the videos before, what we wanted to do is give you an idea of what we did, maybe what you can learn from what, you know, we did and didn't do, things of that nature, right?
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's start off. Obviously, when we went, COVID-19, okay, and what did we do to prepare for the trip and everything? We were hesitant on going, first of all.
Yep.
The ultimate route was to Route 66, but the Grand Canyon was the ultimate place we wanted to go. And we kept watching, and it was the week prior to our vacation that they started opening up the Grand Canyon. And by the middle of the week, I think it was, of the weekend we were going to leave, they actually opened it up the south rim. That was it
Right.
at the point. So that's when we said we're going to do this. So what did we do to prepare, Deb? What all did we do?
Well, I think the main main things were that we took along a supply of Lysol to disinfect. We took along wipes to wipe down our hotel room, and I mean basically any place that we could. Plenty of hand sanitizer, masks for everywhere, so we could have that whenever we were out in public. And really, I think that was the main thing, and just tried to be smart and stay away as far as social distance.
Yeah.
I think that's really the main ways that we prepared.
The other thing that we did was the hotels that we stayed in at, didn't matter where, we wiped them down with
Yep.
with the wipes also. Even though they said, that they were disinfecting themselves. It's not that we don't trust anybody. It's just that with the COVID-19, we did it ourselves as well. All right, so that's what we did. We also packed a cooler that had bottled water, some pop in there, lunch meat. We ate on the road is what we did.
So we could keep on going.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, something you might want to think about as well as you're going. All right. So the other thing that we had was obviously the camera. Wherever we went, I ended up using my Canon Rebel T7i and my GoPro, which is, Hero 6, I believe it is, or 5, Hero 5. And so we've had that. And those are the two things besides our phones
Right.
that we use for cameras. But Debbie came up with something which I'm glad that she did, and that was,
Binoculars.
excuse
That
me.
was good. We really used those mainly at the Petrified Forest
Yeah.
to see the hieroglyphs better, and then in the Grand Canyon, it was really cool to be able to zoom in on things if you wanted to. So
Like the Colorado River, what little you got to see
You-
there when we were
yeah.
there. So,
yeah,
so that's, something that you might want to consider is taking the binoculars. Also, the other thing is, and Debbie will tell you, with YouTube,
yeah,
able to learn a lot
That's for
from
sure.
others' videos, and we would watch. If you follow along on our channel, you know that we ended up going to Alaska a couple of years ago, as a matter of fact, and we watched videos from there to get an idea. Same thing here for Route 66, as well as for the Grand Canyon, which we learned a lot from a lot of people.
sure.
And not only just those two things, but also the hotels that we stayed in, as far as the Wigwam Motel and the Blue Swallow Motel there in Arizona. So Arizona and New Mexico, excuse me. So if you get the opportunity, I guess what I'm saying is, look and watch the YouTube videos for ideas. There were a couple places that we didn't, there was one for sure we didn't stop, that another YouTuber, a very popular YouTuber, was doing, and we went by it, and I had told Debbie, I said, I think that's where, I had seen on a video where the African American people, when they were traveling Route 66, they couldn't stay in, like the Wigwam or the Blue Swallow Motel. They had to have their own books, their own Route 66 books, and it would tell them where they can stay and eat along the route. And we passed one of those.
Yes, we did.
And I didn't have all the information on that. So the other one, if you watched our video about the gas station where they made fake $10 bills,
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
And we were heading to Pops Arcadia at the time, and I told Debbie, I said, I know this one. And we
Yeah.
stopped, and
Right.
sure enough, and I learned that from YouTube. So
Yeah.
my suggestion is, if you get the chance, follow some people and watch on YouTube. That's why we're doing what we're doing today.
And what was really fun was when we were at the Blue Swallow and talking with the owner, Kevin, he said, we mentioned that, he saw that Dennis was doing vlogging or whatever. And he said, well, do you know, I believe it's Justin Scared.
Yeah, yeah.
And anyway, and we said, well, yeah, we've, seen a lot of those videos. And he showed us a little memento, a little donkey that he had left, and it's right there on the property there at the Blue Swallow. So that was kind of fun.
So if you're at the Blue Swallow, ask Kevin where the donkey is from Justin Scared,
Yep.
and he'll show you. All right, how long was this trip? Deb?
Well, it was, on the driving days it was too long, but overall just not long enough.
Yeah, 2 weeks minimum. You've got to have, if you're going to do Route 66 all the way, obviously, minimum of 2 weeks. Of course, we didn't go all the way on Route 66 because we shot up north to the Grand Canyon, but we logged in there and back over 4,000 miles in 6 days. And for us, it took its toll toward the end there. It really did. on the way. It was fantastic, but we didn't get to see everything. And there's so much more to explore on Route 66. And so if you're going to do this trip like we did, please do it, and you're going to drive it, allow for 2 weeks. Is it kid friendly? Personally, I would say no.
Not for young kids.
Yeah.
No, because they would just be bored.
Yeah, because there's so much driving, and in the history, if you've got the information, they're not going to care about it, I don't think,
Right.
like the adults would. But
Right.
believe me, by no means, we recommend doing it.
Oh, the Grand Canyon, you've got to do. Got to see that.
And we're going to talk about the Grand Canyon here in a couple of minutes. Also, one of the things that Debbie and I had, well, I shouldn't say Debbie and I, it's Debbie's thing, is we don't like to, or she doesn't want to eat at chain restaurants if we can help it. Let's find local restaurants. Let's try something new. And we did. And we've got a few out there. The first stop that we made on our first day that we were leaving was there in Springfield. And Springfield, wasn't it?
Well, the first stop was the Gemini Man.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about where we ate.
Oh, where we at?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, our first stop was the Gemini Man on Route 66.
Right.
But anyway, the Cozy Dog.
Yep.
Tell them about who we met and what you thought of the food.
Well, we actually met the owner, and if I understand correctly, he is the brother of Bob Waldmeyer,
Yep.
who actually traveled Route 66 in a van, and he lived in it, and he did a lot of drawings, and it was a really fun place. I mean, the Cozy Dogs were very good. The fries, they give you like
Tons.
a ton of them.
Yeah.
We got kind of the meal deal and shared it, and it was
More than
really
enough.
more than enough. But it was really great to talk with Bob's brother. It was very interesting. Just a really nice, down to earth guy. I mean, he was right there at the condiments place, just kind of talking with me. But again, that was different, a little bit different because of the COVID-19. You didn't have bottles of ketchup or anything like that. You had to get the packets and things like that. But just in general, very fun place.
So if you get the chance, it's on Route 66. Make sure you stop there. Another restaurant that we want to talk about was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's called the Dog House. And again, we learned this from another YouTuber that had said him and his dad, Through My Lens is the name of it, said that him and his dad stopped there. Best dogs on Route 66. So it's like, all right, take his word. Let me tell you, Debbie and I both will agree with that. That is the best place to have
It was very good.
a chili dog.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it was great.
Yeah. But again, because of COVID-19, we sat in the parking lot. They came and they took our order, and then they brought us our order, and then there was no going inside, of course.
Yep. But still, it was worth it.
Yes,
Let me
definitely.
tell you. And to get there, it is kind of off the beaten
Yeah.
path, off the interstate.
Yep.
But still, you're on Route 66
Right.
with that. So in Albuquerque, New Mexico, if you get the chance, stop at the Dog House. You won't regret it.
That's right.
The other place that we stopped at, Deb, happened to be at when we were at the Wigwam. Was it the Wigwam?
Yes.
It's the Wigwam Motel.
Yes.
If you're looking for a decent restaurant, then we recommend Butterfield Stage Company.
Yep.
And it's a steakhouse.
Yep.
Debbie and I that night we're thinking, okay, where are we going to eat or whatever? And really, with the COVID, not a lot was open.
Mm-hmm.
And to find anything, and we just started taking a drive, and we saw this place. It's nothing spectacular on the outside, but I'll tell you what, very, very good food on
Yep.
the inside.
Yep.
Wasn't crowded, obviously. Social distancing was taking place there, and we enjoyed the meal.
Very good. Yes.
So if you're there at the Wigwam, again, we recommend Butterfield Stage Company Steakhouse. Check that out if you can. Then when we got to Tucson, Arizona, which is the south rim of the Grand Canyon of the national park there, again, they have some places. We were staying at the Holiday Inn there.
Yep.
And they've got some very different places, like I said, that you can eat at. One of them, our first night there, I think it was,
I believe so.
that we got there, we wanted Mexican, because Debbie and I will choose. Well, what sounds good tonight? Mexican, Italian, American, steak, what? And we both wanted it. And it's called La Plaza Bonita, right?
Or La Bonita Plaza,
Oh,
I believe.
oh,
Whatever.
okay, I had it backwards. Sorry.
Well, it's one of the
Okay,
two.
but it's a Mexican restaurant, and you know it's good when they had the signs because of the COVID-19. When they had the sign, it's not to rush you, but yet it is. you know, when you're done, please basically leave so they can get the next people in there.
Right.
Best Mexican food I think I've ever had.
And a really good margarita.
Yeah, I've had that's true. That is true. So check that out when you're there at the South Rim entrance in Arizona for the Grand Canyon. All right, so moving on here of other things that we've got to discuss about. Let's talk a little bit about the hotels while we're at it.
Okay.
Because of Debbie's travel in the past, she had points at Holiday Inn, so whenever we didn't stay somewhere else, it was always a Holiday Inn, and can't complain about them.
No.
They were all, you know, and obviously not a lot of people staying out during that time. However, let's start with the Blue Swallow Motel. One of the things that we were told on watching the videos and everything, you got to stay there and the Wigwam if you're going to travel Route 66. Yep. And Blue Swallow, your opinions on that?
I loved it. I loved it.
You want nostalgia? That's it.
That's right.
There's no doubt about it. In our video, if you noticed, I talked about from the bedspreads to the tables to everything inside the room. And I think the thing that interested me the most was the side garages where you can actually, back in the day, they'd park their cars inside.
Yep.
And then you'd walk into the room.
Yep.
Now you can't walk in that way, the way they had it, where the room is connected to the garage. You got to walk outside and then back into your room. But still, what, maybe 5-6 steps at the most.
Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there.
But we did see a couple of garages have cars or motorcycles in them
Yep.
that people had spent the night and were using it. We got there late, as we said in the video, and we want to thank Kevin for allowing us to come in late, because final check-in was at 10 p.m. local time, or 9 p.m. local time, and we got there at 10. That's what it was, local time.
Yeah.
For us, that meant midnight here back in Indiana. So, very comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, not like today's hotels where you got the roominess.
Right.
You know, but back then, hey, it was only meant to go in there, sleep, and you know, take a shower or whatever, and
get ready to go.
Yeah, get on the road again. So, again, check out the Blue Swallow Motel if you get the opportunity. The other one, the Wigwam. And Debbie and I were laughing through the whole time because it's like, what are we getting ourselves into with this? And I will admit, that night when we got to the Wigwam, not only was it very windy that day,
Oh my goodness.
but the temperatures were dropping.
Yes.
And the next morning, I remember when we got up, it was like 37 degrees.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, just a rule of thumb: take a jacket with you or a sweat jacket when you're out west there like that, because of the desert area.
Yep.
But the Wigwam, I thought was really cool. To me, to go in there now, the shower for me, I will admit, I am 6 feet tall and obviously a little wide. Tough. I'm almost on my knees to get down underneath the shower head, to give you an idea. So the shower is very tight at the Wigwam. Otherwise, we had 2 queen size beds or full beds, full size beds. I'm sorry, and the TV. If you don't mind watching a laptop type monitor, that's what you're going to get. Otherwise, very clean, very nice, and we recommend the Wigwam too if you get the opportunity.
Fun. It's fun to do.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of either one?
I really love the nostalgia of the Blue Swallow, and Kevin, the owner, just very nice. I mean, we went in and just had a really nice conversation, and he kind of walked around and showed us things, and I really liked that one.
I did too.
But again, the Wigwam was fun. I mean.
Well, and to see the neon too of the Blue Swallow that night.
That's right. Yep.
As we were coming down Route 66 there up to the Wigwam, some of the neons that you see.
And it was nice because they have chairs and like the older type of outdoor chairs and a table out there. So you can kind of sit and just look around and talk and enjoy the evening. And we didn't get to do it for very long, because we got there so late. But just a really neat place.
Worth it.
Yep.
It is very, very much worth it. All right, a couple other things. And when you're on the trip, may I suggest using the Route 66 app, the Ultimate app, the Ultimate Route 66 app is what we used. And you can plan your trip. It'll give you things if you're heading, in our case, we were heading westbound. And you pick a state of all the states that Route 66 goes through. And it'll tell you some of the highlights to go check out, which is very, very helpful. They'll also update you on road conditions and things of that nature. So use my recommendation is the Ultimate Route 66 app if you get that, okay? One place that I don't know, Debbie can fill you in with her thoughts, but I did not care for Pops Arcadia. I thought that would have been a neat place because of what we had seen on YouTube and the ads and stuff about all these different flavors and everything. And with COVID-19 going on, you know, nobody, and I'm not exaggerating when I say nobody had a mask on and the place was packed.
Yeah.
Debbie, if you looked in our video, watched our video earlier, Debbie tells you the story about she was talking to one of the employees of how the pop had been there 13 years.
Yeah, the pop that you see, it's stacked on the windows. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
On
They're
the
on
shelving,
the shelves
yeah.
on the windows, yeah. Yeah, because we had heard there were so many different fun flavors or weird flavors. But really, when we got in there, we didn't see those. We saw a few. Just there was like a cucumber and a teriyaki.
Yep. Asparagus, I think was the other one.
Something like
Yeah.
that. But we expected like a whole variety of them, and so I asked the gal. I said, "So where are all these crazy flavors?" And they're up in the bottles along the outside of the building or the inside of the building, but on shelves. And yeah, she said that really they didn't make that sort of thing for like 13 years.
So, I mean, there's a restaurant you can go in there and eat. There's some other. It's usually Route 66 soda or pop, however you
Yeah.
want to say it.
Yeah.
And they've got some candy bars and a couple of souvenirs. But and you can get gas there too. But personally, I wouldn't go back. Like I said, it was very disappointed in how they handled the COVID-19, as well as the fact that what we were told was that we'd find wasn't there.
Yeah,
So
and
that
might
disappointed.
not. Yeah, that might not be their fault. So,
Right,
per se, the
true.
COVID-19 and all the people, but not doing their distancing and masks. But yeah, it's not what we thought it would be.
All right. Also on the trip, when you started in Route 66, now Debbie and I, when we started, we went south of Chicago because we're in Northwest Indiana. We're only an hour away from downtown Chicago from where we live. And at that time, Chicago was a hot spot. So we didn't start at the actual Route 66, although we probably walked by it, the signage and everything, numerous times
Yep.
since we're in Chicago a lot. But anyway, our thing is, we got down south of Joliet. Once you go there, start looking for a yellow sign, yellow background, and then you'll see the emblem of a jackrabbit, a black jackrabbit with just numbers on it. That is the original store of the Jackrabbit store, which is also in Arizona.
Yes.
And you'll see them count down the mileage as you're going. Great PR back in the day. They ran the whole route with that. So that way, people are wondering, well, what is this jackrabbit? What is this sign? And then you go in there. One of the cleanest and very nice
Yes,
place as
yes.
far as a tourist, if you're looking for stuff to buy or
Yep.
whatever, we recommend the Jackrabbit.
Yep.
It is very cool. So keep an eye out for those signs. A good game I wish we would have played because we like doing it. How many signs do we see
Right.
along the route? That would have been nice to see. Another thing to check out is the blue whale. Obviously, we did that in Oklahoma. Now, with that being said, we had our lunches packed or whatever, and there's places for you to sit, little cement picnic
Yeah,
tables
yeah.
that you can sit on chairs and the table and eat your lunch right with the blue whale. And we actually did that.
We did- Nice shady area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really was. So, and then there's the jackrabbit sign there too. I can tell you that
Yep.
because I took that picture. But the Blue Well's another place to check out. Also, Spencer Garage. You get the chance. That was in Missouri. That is definitely off the beaten path.
Yep.
It's off of Route 66 byway, and then all of a sudden you're on Route 66. And Debbie and I ended up stopping there. You saw the video where we stopped and looked around, had a drink and stuff. Great place, and what those people are doing to keep that up. Very peaceful. The interesting thing was when we took off from there, all of a sudden we're back on the interstate. There's no more Route 66, and Debbie brought up a great question. So if you want to travel all Route 66, how do you do it? And we couldn't answer it. Even the app couldn't answer it for me. So maybe you guys can let us know. We're open to any history about the Route 66. All right, another place that we went to and then we didn't go to, and that's the Meteor Crater, Deb.
Oh, that's right. Yep, we were going to go to the crater, the meteor crater. It sounded pretty interesting, and so we drove quite a few miles off the interstate to go to this place. And then we went in, and you have to get tickets to actually see the crater. and what I believe they were like $22 a piece.
Correct.
Yeah, and so just I guess for what we were going to get to see, which was of course the crater made by a meteor, which would have been cool, but just really didn't think that it was worth the $22 a piece to go look at that.
And since then, I looked it up on YouTube. A couple of people have went there, and just like Debbie said, you get to see the crater. You get the idea that NASA used to train there for the Apollo missions. That would have been neat to see. But from the two that I saw, I think they spent a total, and they did not take the tour, okay? Because there's a tour that you can take, and I'm not sure if that cost extra or not. But anyway, they were there maybe a total of 30 minutes. And I think that's what I said in our video too. Mm-hmm. So, $44 for 20 minutes of whatever, it wasn't our thing. But it may be yours. We're not saying don't do it. It just give you a heads up.
Prepared,
be prepared. And boys, it take a while to get, once you get off I-40, to get back in there too. Yeah. It's about a 10 to 15 minute drive.
Yeah,
I think.
It really was.
Yep, to get back there. Another thing we didn't talk about here earlier, and I want to touch on real quick, and that's President Lincoln's tomb in Springfield, Illinois. That is one place we were looking for. Debbie and I love checking out Mount Vernon with President Washington, and here we get Lincoln. We like doing that stuff. I'm a history buff. I love it. And unfortunately, because of COVID-19, as we said, it was closed, the tomb area. You can walk around the cemetery. As you saw in our video, you can go up to the tomb area, the gravesite of President Lincoln, and that's it, nothing else. The other thing is we wanted to visit his boyhood home, and unfortunately that's closed. Now, again, before you go, because we were looking, here it is in July, and we were thinking, let's go and see if it's open. We'll go drive back down there, and it's still not open yet because of COVID-19 and the spike of the disease rising throughout the state of Illinois. So one day we'll get back there and we'll do another vlog on it. But in the meantime, if you get the chance, I think it's great. And the History Museum, or the Presidential Museum, also was closed.
Yeah, the library.
The library, thank you. That's what I meant, the library, yep. Thank you. So just a heads up on that one as well. And you guys might want to take a look at that, okay? Other than that, then we got to the Petrified Forest. I say florist, even in the video. Petrified Forest. And that was the morning we left the wigwam, and I was ready for a jacket at 37 degrees to start the day.
Yes.
And
yep.
Debbie loved the Petrified Forest.
I loved it, yeah.
Why?
We could have spent a lot more time there, I think, but we spent a half a day. That was driving through. We were there a half a day.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But anyway, we drove through, but there are other trails and things like that you can take to look at things a little bit more closely. But I loved it. I mean, I love outdoors stuff. I love everything about the history of the rocks and
yep.
and just everything that we saw in the Petrified Forest and the petrified and crystallized wood and really kind of thinking, boy, how long it's been there and how did it really get made and those things
How'd
like
they cut those logs like that too?
They didn't cut them. But anyway, and it was really cool that it's the only national park, I believe, that has a piece of Route 66 going through it. There's the trail through there, and Dennis explained it in the videos because you can see the power lines going through there, and they had kind of an old shell of an old car that was there that told a little bit about Route 66 going through there. But it was, I mean, just extremely, extremely interesting, and if you like that sort of thing, it's definitely a place to go.
The Painted Desert was one of my favorite spots there, and that's the first thing that we came into. To see the different colors of everything, of the rocks and the shale and everything of that nature. The other thing had to be about Route 66. I was all about that, and I just thought how awesome that was. That people actually drove through there. How many of them, and one of the things I thought of, how many of them actually knew that they were in a petrified forest back in the day? Right. I again, just thinking about that. The Petrified Forest, when we got there, had just opened up about the week earlier, just like the Grand Canyon. So we were fortunate that we got to go through there. Yeah,
the other big thing there was the petroglyphs.
Yes.
The hieroglyphics that had been petrified. Just unbelievably cool. I mean, how long ago that they had been made, and how you could tell the symbols. You could tell where they were trying to draw a person or an animal or things like that, and or like a person with a spear or something. I mean, those were really, really cool as well. And the binoculars came in handy there.
Yes,
they have a binocular thing there, but it was I think good to be able to move around and get to the angle that you wanted with your own binoculars and really zoom in on them. Very cool.
Once we got through that, and then next thing we knew, we were on our way to the Grand Canyon, and that ended our travel on Route 66 when we started heading north. A couple of things. First of all, the Grand Canyon, as we said earlier, and in the video too, it just opened up
Right.
when we got there, and so social distancing, crowds, nothing. I mean, didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
There, and on the South Rim, there's at least 3 parking lots right there, and everybody was in one, and that wasn't even 3/4 of the way
Right.
full. I maybe halfway if we were half full, if we were lucky.
But there were no services available, no
Yeah.
tours or no information or things like that. But make sure if it still is closed, you need to take your water and your snacks if you're going to be out there, for a while.
Suntan lotion also,
Oh yeah.
definitely. But yeah, the bathrooms were open. That was one that was open.
Yes.
But like Debbie said, there along the way on the trail, on the South Rim Trail, there was a place where you can get water, and they had that all shut off. So you make sure you got plenty of water that you take with you. We ended up walking that day 12 miles.
I think so.
And amazingly, everybody goes, when they first get there at the South Rim and you park, you're right there, you walk up, and there's the Grand Canyon right in front of you. And everybody hangs around that area, what's known as Mather's Point. And they may walk maybe another, I don't know, half mile to a mile at the
Yeah.
most, if that. And then all of a sudden, it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
Now, there were some other people that were walking because the
that's a lot.
hotel's down
Yeah.
there, 6 miles, 7 miles away from Mather's Point. But, I mean, there were people, we had our mask with us.
Yep.
If we had to, we could have thrown them on. But there wasn't hardly anybody around us to do that. Social distancing, if we were walking one way and a couple was coming another, everybody spread out,
Yep.
no problem. So it was worth going to see that.
Oh, it's totally awesome. I could have spent days there, and the hiking was not available either.
Right, that's
Yeah,
right,
not
and the
that-
mules, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's another thing. I'll have to go back and hike down and back up again. So.
Since then, I was telling Debbie, since we left, July 6th, I think it was, a lady had fallen to her death on the South Rim over at Mather's Point.
Yeah.
There is railing and fencing in some locations, but the farther away you get from the opening of the park area that we were from Mather's Point, there isn't anything. We had lunch, and that's one of those things that's etched in your mind. We were setting out on a ledge, and don't get me wrong, we weren't dangling our feet over it, not even close. But we were probably 3/4 out from this ledge, and all we could see around us was just nothing but the Grand Canyon. Nothing, no obstacle, no nothing. It was the perfect picture at that time, which we uploaded on. But again, binoculars, cameras. Make sure you got them. Our lunch that day, we had bought a couple of Lunchables, left them in the cooler back in the vehicle, but we had snacks, salted
Trail
snack,
mix,
trail
yeah.
mix, thank you,
Yeah.
that we ate along the way with and
Yep.
drank with our water, and it was just enough.
Yep.
It really was. So if you get the opportunity, you got to see the Grand Canyon. And the thing I think that surprised me the most about the Grand Canyon, Deb, was the fact that how many people have to go see the sunset.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a location, and I should have wrote it down, that you farther from Mather's Point, and we went to the parking lot. We parked there, walked up, and there's a ledge, and you'll see in the pictures in the video where I've got the picture of people just sitting. I mean, they are set up with their cameras, tripods. They bring their own chairs, and they sit there. And I mean, if you could find a couple of rocks to sit on, you were doing good to watch the sunset, which was really cool to see.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it really was.
Okay. Alrighty. My favorite part of the Grand Canyon was when we first stepped over where we could see it. When you first
That night?
see the first view of the Grand Canyon. I mean, it's big, it's awesome. You've heard all the dimensions of it, but until you see it, I mean, it's just breathtaking. So to me, the very favorite part was when we first took that step to where we could see the canyon, and then after that, it was just walking around and seeing all the different views. I mean, it was just spectacular from every point. I could have spent probably days there just looking at it and going to different places.
I think the best pictures that I had taken of it was that first night that we got there when the sun was setting. And the sun at that time, we couldn't see it setting as
Right.
much as everybody else because we weren't that in that part of the canyon. But just to get the colors of the rocks, the way it was,
Just-
you know, it was just unbelievable. My obviously out of the whole thing, one had to be the fact that I was able to walk as much as I did that day. But the biggest thing was, as I said earlier, to be able to sit on that ledge like we did, to oversee and overlook the Grand Canyon while we were having our little trail mix and our water. That was our lunch that day until we got back to the vehicle, and it was worth it. I'm like Debbie, if you get the chance, you've got to go see it. Put it on your bucket list, and that was on our bucket list
Yeah.
to go see the Grand Canyon, and we'll go back again.
Yeah.
It's worth it, no doubt about it. It's not very expensive, and it's just a sight to see
Yeah.
how that thing was made. So, top 3 things that you would recommend to people on their way to
golly.
out west.
Grand Canyon, of course.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon and Petrified Forest. I know that's 2, but they're pretty close together. Grand Canyon
Yeah.
number 1, Petrified Forest number 2. Again, because that's my kind of thing. And I think the third, I really like the blue whale.
Okay. And that is something to see. Got to admit, if you haven't seen a blue whale. Mine had to be with Route 66. I was fascinated with it. Again, history. That's me. 2 would have been Lincoln's Tomb, and
yeah,
to check
that's a
that out.
tough one, too.
We will go back and see that. And I'm
Yeah.
like Debbie, the third thing, and mine's not in any order. It's just the top 3 things. The Grand Canyon. You've got to see the Grand Canyon. What a sight! And if you get the opportunity, believe me, it is so worth it. It really is. So, anything else that we've missed that maybe you're thinking that we should let our viewers know?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, just a good fun trip, and make sure you have some time to do it. For what you want to do.
Yeah, don't be like us and do this in 6 days,
Yeah.
driving there and back, because our first day, we really were taking our time. When we got to Pontiac, Illinois, for example,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, check this out. Next thing you know,
Yeah.
hey, we're supposed to be in Springfield by such and such time, and I'm the one that was trying to figure out how many hours we could drive and how many hours were going to allow us to, visit and see things. And no, that didn't work out very well. So it definitely
but-
allowed, like I said, at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks.
But we did see a lot of neat things. So.
Yes, we did. And our next adventure, who knows? It could be down to Springfield, Illinois to see all the things about President Lincoln. It could be Mackinac Island up in Mackinac, Michigan. It could be around our place here. Who knows? Debbie and I love to travel when we get the opportunity. And we hope to do that. Today's world, it's totally different. Make sure
That's
you
for
got
sure.
that mask with you and take it. But, we ask that you continue to watch our videos, subscribe to our videos. We'd really appreciate that. And, of course, like us and leave a comment. If you've got a suggestion or, whatever, let us know. We would really, really appreciate it. All right. Anything else?
I think that is it.
I do too. Hey, thanks for joining us. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like our page, Dennis and Debbie's Ventures. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.